try not to have too much. Good morning, good people. You're watching Brudsy Entertainment. I am joined with the lovely Olga. Olga, how are you today?
I'm very good. I'm on my third coffee. It's amazing.
Third coffee. That's a lot. That's a lot. Like I have like two coffees, and yeah, you do get that good little hit sometimes. If you got good coffee, you do get a nice hit, and it does make you feel like really energized if you got loads to do. But yeah, three coffees is a lot in the morning, I would say.
Yeah, it's not very strong, so it's like watered down coffee.
You're not one of these people that drink it cold, are you?
Some people would say it's kind of cold, but it's not. No, it's not cold. It's warm coffee. I just drink it long. Like, yeah.
Okay. Olga, we had a pep talk the other day. It was more than a pep talk. We spoke for about an hour off air. I would have loved to have had that all available for everyone, but we'll kind of just reboot and just sort of generalize sort of things as we were going over it. Olga, tell us a little bit about you and your experiences.
But me and my experiences, how much time have you got? So,
Let's put it down to a little bit about you, and what you do now. Let's do that.
okay, a little bit about me. I'm originally from Poland. I live in London, UK for the last 22 years. I came here for 10 days and I stayed. And I am a mindset and high performance coach. So I work with high performance in business, founders, business leaders, people who want to create their own business and help them to have a high performance lifestyle.
Okay. So kind of like a life coach kind of sort of thing, is it? Would you say?
Yes, life coach with a big focus on the leadership, on creation of the businesses. I'm a certified and accredited positive psychology coach. I'm certified and accredited transformational life coach as well, and I've got multiple different certifications as well. And I work with people to help them to first understand where they are, understand the purpose, and then go for it and be very successful. I work a lot with the subconscious mind blocks and help to unlock them very fast.
Explain that, because I imagine you have, everyone in this day and age wants to set a business up. Everyone wants to be successful. So what is the main thing that you do? Say like for instance, I said to you, right, help me out over here, blow me up. I need to be 10 times more successful than I am today. What would you sort of start with?
I will start with actually having a chat with you and finding out how much do you want, because sometimes people say they really want and they don't actually. They will say, oh, I haven't got it, I wish I was there. But actually, how much risk and how much you want to put and how much fear you want to experience to create it, how much it is in yourself. And you know what? A lot of people talk about it, wanting having your own business. A lot of times it's not about that. You actually want to have a success, which you see someone having business, but you don't want to have a journey. So I always check with my clients if they are ready for the journey, because journey of coming out of your comfort zone is never comfortable.
Yeah.
And if you're not ready to take that, then you're not ready to grow. So that would be the first thing.
Yeah, yeah. I must say, I wouldn't say I'm a life coach myself, but I do mentor people. I do manage people on social media, and people always come to me with the story of wanting to be successful in a certain industry that I work in. I know pretty well, and unfortunately the work rate, the first thing that comes, I think I'm quite fair, because I'll give someone, when you know how to fish, you can sort of just tell people, you
Yeah.
can just teach people how to fish, and I kind of like give them the blueprint. Okay, let's set a game plan up, 3 months, judge me after 3 months, let's see how we're going, do this and that. You've got a checklist to do every single day. And yeah, you maybe get 1 day, you get 2 day, very rarely you get the consistency of people wanting to be consistent. But
Mm.
on the flip side to that, like you were saying as well, some people want to be successful, some people want to own their own businesses. I did, like, from, I would say, from the age of like 21. I'm 41 now. Well, 40. I'm not aging from 40 from now on, okay, guys? I'm 40. So no one fact check me or anything like that. I'm 40 from now on. I'm not going above 40. But yeah, I would say, when from about 21 to 30, and maybe 35, I've always had my own businesses, and I've always run my own businesses. I was always I was too kind. I was too nice. It was self-employed. I used to pay people out of my own pocket, and literally, it all came to a halt. And it was just like it just got too much. And
Yes.
the stress. Some people don't understand the stress. Like when you feel like you're having a nervous breakdown, like and I've got on a Friday afternoon, I've got five people calling me up, and like they know their money's not due. I know their money's not due, but they're calling me up. Oh, my kids need this, my kids need that, and it was a horrible situation. So
Mhm.
to and what ended up happening, I just said to myself, right, I need a break. I'm stopped, and I went and got like a normal job, just a normal job, and I was the happiest ever, even though the money was like nowhere near what I used to get. It was just like, you telling me I'm getting this money, no, it's all mine. I don't have to pay anyone. I don't have to do this. And I was just like, oh my god. So I know exactly what you mean in reverse, in reversal as well, but from both sides of the spectrum as well. So it's definitely a challenge when you run your own business and stuff like that.
And and also there is nothing wrong in working for a corporation. Some people are made for do that, and I think that we've got this picture in the social media promoted by a lot of people from my industry and from a lot of different industries selling something usually, which are picturing running your own business as a key to freedom. And every time if someone is coming to me and says I want to get out from 9 to 5, I ask them one question: are you ready for 24/7?
Literally.
And if they say no, because I want to have a freedom, I will be like, yes, I have a freedom that on Monday, if I get on the tube, I go opposite direction to the city because I'm going to my gym. And I can have a brunch on Tuesday afternoon with my friends. But also over weekend, when everyone is resting, I may be creating something. I may be working. I may be worrying about my sales page, or like if you've got a team, working with your team. So I think people sometimes have got this very crazy idea of running your own business as this key to freedom, and everything's going to be just so amazing because that's how I saw it on social media. It's not, it's tough. It's the amazing parts to it, incredible. But there are these moments when you have to be ready, when you feel like, I don't want to do it anymore, I want to quit. There are the moments when you're going to take the risk. And I think the most successful people, some of my clients are extremely successful people. And they have got this one thing in common, that when they believe into something, they just go for it and they take the biggest risks. Like I had clients when they were saying, look, if that doesn't work, I'm going to have a conversation with my wife, that we're going to lose the house because I just took the loan and my mortgage is the only security I've got.
Wow.
It has
And
to,
I love that mindset.
and it works.
I
Actually,
love that.
it's
I
amazing.
love that.
It works. But
I love that mindset and that mentality. I don't know if you know Sylvester Stallone. Very, very, very popular story when he wrote the first Rocky. And he was literally on his knees. He went to the film producers and he said to them, I've got this script. They said to him, yeah, brilliant. We'll give you £200,000. He said, no, I'll take less, but I want to be the lead character. And he was on his ass. He got to the point, guys, where he sold his beloved dog. He sold his dog just to keep ends meet. And then a couple of days later, they called up and said, fine, we'll let you lead your role. And billions of pounds later. So I do love that mentality, and it's something that I used to have it a lot more. Like as I've sort of got more comfortable in this trap of work and sort of other sort of things, I do look back to myself because I used to do crazy things all the time. You wouldn't even imagine the kind of things I used to do. Like I used to have so much pressure on me, and I used to have loads of people working for me as well, and yeah, it was challenging. And I do think to myself, do I really want that? But you learn lessons as well. Like you learn the right things to do, and and mainly just to sort of stay on the right track. Like because sometimes it's very easy when you see a gap in the market to sort of capitalize on it, but it normally comes with some sort of problem or whatever, and the consistent right way of doing it is always the best way for me.
absolutely. It's very easy to see the gap in the market. It's not easy to go. And when things go wrong, to still keep going. Because I think that's what it takes when you're creating your own business, when you're creating anything. If you want to get to the next level, and I'm not saying everything has to take effort, but sometimes we have to release our old beliefs, and that could feel really uncomfortable, and that could sabotage our own success. So if someone is not ready for discomfort, they're not ready for success. That's what I think.
Yeah. And I feel like as well, we all have obstacles in our life. You've got people that are willing to do it, and it's normally a wife or a girlfriend that's like, wait a minute, you're earning 40, 50,000 pounds a year. That's good money. What the hell are you talking about? You want to jack this in and start a business up, and that pressure when other people can't see your vision. What the sad thing about it is, guys, when you have a
Mhm.
vision, you bust your gut. You don't care what people say. You go out there. No one supports you at the start. Soon as the money comes in, you're a genius. But not everyone's money comes in straight away, and the journey is different for everyone. And loads of successful billionaires have made their fortunes in their 60s and 70s. And what I always say as well, the right time. Sometimes the universe will give you things and take things away from you if it feels that it will destroy you. If you get what you want, like I feel like if I would have got what I wanted, like where I am now, if I would have had it back in the day when I had loads of money, I would be in big trouble now. I wouldn't have been able to handle it. So I feel like the universe sends things to you at the right time and takes it away from you just before you sort of hang yourself, you know?
Absolutely, I agree with that. And a lot of times we also, and the God universe is taking things away from us to take this sense of security. Because a lot of times, if you listen to successful stories, there was a total breakdown before breakthrough. And that put people in a situation when they were going, I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm just gonna go for it. And if you have a really strong why, and you've got nothing to hold you back, so a lot of times that was the moment where people go and create a success. And that's why sometimes we're sabotaging ourselves. We take the security to have this moment. And that's very, like any story you will listen, there is always this element of breakdown. And to refer to what you just said before is so important, to be aware of your environment and be very conscious of people you're surrounding yourself with. And that's your relationships, like romantic relationships, your friendships, that can hold you back as well, big time. That, there are people who will dismiss your dreams because they didn't follow theirs. They would say, if someone says to you, "Oh, be realistic," run away from them. Run away if you want to
Man,
be successful.
it's so damaging. And what some people don't realize is if you just give your partner some support in areas like just even if you don't see their vision, just give them some support.
Mhm.
It helps, like because you've got people that want to do stuff, but it's just like, oh, I can't do it because she'll moan, blah blah blah, sort of thing. But and then it leads me to the next. It leads me to the next thing, the
Yes.
price. Everything has a price. So your success has a price. You see these people, these big CEOs, you probably work with them that run these
Mhm.
massive companies. Their price might have to be that they're not able to spend time with their families, and
Yes.
all other dynamics, like it might end up like I mean, some women are happy to sit back and relax and enjoy that money, but some women also want some company as well. So if you're not there, you're always working. This is a
Mm.
big thing that women always say, oh, you're always working, and then if you're broke, they say you're never working, and blah blah blah. They say they want this and they want that, and then it's just like, oh my god, if I work too much, you're moaning. We don't have any money and blah blah blah. And these are the kind of dynamics that relationships around sort of people trying to build their things does have. So the price, I would also say.
There is a price. And I think what is important as well to remember, and I always remind my clients when we work together and they've got very delusional goal, which I would encourage them to have, we not only work on regulating their subconscious mind or regulating their nervous system, but also expanding to be able to hold it. Because yes, being broke is stressful, and I think it's one of the most stressful things ever. I've experienced it a number of times in my life. But having a level of responsibility and being rich in terms of like wealthy in terms of money is super stressful as well. And there are level of stresses which when you're broke you can't even imagine. It's not, there is a statistic: 79% of people who won lottery in America,
Yeah.
they losing the money within the first year. And it's not only because they just don't know how to manage, they haven't got the financial education. One of the element is because the subconscious mind is not programmed to hold it. They don't, like, they will self-sabotage, they will spend, they don't believe they deserve that money. So when you're preparing yourself for your goals, start shifting your identity into person. And that's why I work a lot with shifting identity into person who already has it. How do I move as a millionaire? Or it's not only, pretty Pilates classes in the morning is making decisions that maybe I have to take care of security of my house because I never had to do it, because all of a sudden I've got wealth which could be bringing attention of other people. All of a sudden I have to think about security of my kids. I never had to, but now someone can kidnap them from the school gates. This is the element we don't think about it.
Yep.
uh, all of a sudden I have less time because I'm running this business. When I have to balance my business and my family life, how am I going to prepare, how am I going to prioritize it? So yes, that's so important, and there is a price to everything. Yes.
Hmm. How do we balance that though? Like, the price of success. Like, how do we balance it? Like, so where's the fine line? Would you say, like, your client, say, like, so if a client comes to you, he's got a family, and you say, right, for you to get what you need to put 80 hours into this thing over here, which is going to take you away from this over there. So do you ever feel guilty saying to them, right, I can get you there, but you may lose this over there at the same time?
Okay, I'm a coach, not teacher. So
Okay.
I never tell people what they need to do. I ask them questions and we work out, and I help them to work out the best solution for themselves. I think and then I may make suggestions, of course, of the systems and techniques, but coaching is very important. I'm getting the best out of you rather than being a guru and telling you how to live your life. So if there is someone on social media who tells you how to live your life, they're not coaching, they're trying to teach you, and then you need to assess if they're expert in that field. I will leave it like that. But with balancing, I think this is the only time when I say let's be realistic, but also be very aware of what your priorities are. So I always help my clients to look into the lives from bird's eye view, like assessing if family and business are important to you. Let's make sure we maintain it, but we also don't forget about other areas like your self-care, your self-love. And I don't mean like a bubble bath, but actually taking care of yourself, your health, like physical health. That's why I always say high performance lifestyle. Physical health is extremely important. If you don't take care of your physical health, you're gonna not be successful. You're not gonna be able to maintain the success. But if you, for example, having a startup and building a business, then you need to be realistic, because saying that I'm going to have a 50-50 balance is unrealistic. It's not going to happen. You need to say, okay, I'm preparing myself for the next year, that I'm gonna really go for it and focus on the work, but also I'm gonna be having communication with my family, and where it's possible, spend time with them. But we all communicate and we know where we are, rather than just going for it and saying, "Oh my God, my life is not balanced." I am very aware and I'm very conscious of what is happening. I get to the stage when I can allow myself now to take a break. Let's say I sold my business, and that's when I'm going to be spending time with my family. I had an interesting conversation with someone the other day. This person created business, had amazing, one of the fastest takeovers in their industry. They sold business for massive amounts of money. And it's actually a lady, and she said, on the very beginning, when I was advertising positions in my business, when it was a new startup, I was talking about balance of life to work. Then I realized that we had to put hustle in the values because it's impossible. She was like, I'm talking about it because we cannot, as much we want to have a balance. When you're building something and you want to have a target to sell it for $25 million, then you have to be aware that there is a sacrifice.
Definitely.
It will be worth it.
Definitely. How do you gain, as a coach? How do you gain respect in the industry? Because I imagine that must be a very challenging thing for, especially, like, I would assume it's harder. Oh, I don't know. Is it harder for a woman? Because men, you're a very pretty woman. Men will keep
Thank you.
men always want a pretty face around them. So, but in your experience, would you say it's harder to gain respect from clients? Like, you turn up to this guy and he's like,
I think like the first thing is my client's results. That's the best thing, because my client results talk for me. First of all, also I don't only have a coaching experience. I've got 15 years of building my own career in corporate, and I built it from the scratch. I never went to university. I just couldn't. My parents couldn't afford it, and then I moved to UK, and life was just so exciting when when you're 21 and moving to London. Like, yeah. But I also built a very successful career, and I have experience running big businesses, like one of the biggest turnovers I was accountable for was 65 million pounds with 300 people in my team. I've worked for recognized brands, world globally recognized brands, and I worked in UK. I ran Middle East as well. I worked in a global role. So first of all, I understand the background of the big business. I understand the corporate life, and I also understand how it is to be a senior leader in a business. And then when I started coaching, I very important for me was always to have an expertise, but also the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
You can talk the talk, you can have the best marketing tools and beautiful Instagram and everything. But if your client results don't talk, then you're not very good. I am very proud that all of my clients one-to-one coaching, they always extend a relationship with me, and they all have got tangible results, and they are not only tangible results in terms of the money, because I don't want them to only have this as a KPI, but also real transformations. And people then from their environment see it and they go like, what happened that
Yeah.
you all of a sudden have got this glow and you're so successful? Oh, because I've worked with Olga, and that's how my expertise and respect works.
Have you had clients? Have you had clients turn you away and just be like, have you ever just turned up to a meeting and just felt this guy doesn't like me or doesn't respect me no matter what I say or what I've done? Like, there must be some guys because I know there's a lot of misogyny going around at the minute. So especially when you're dealing with millions and hundreds of millions of pounds, surely you've had some knockbacks.
So I never had actually someone who would decide to work with me and then turn me down. I had people who've approached me and I was like looking at their LinkedIn thinking, oh my God, like how is this person even found me and they want to work with me? This is amazing. And then we work together.
Mm.
I never experienced that. I always, as well, when I work with one-to-one clients, I always make sure that we either jump on the call or we meet, because A is a very big investment. B, I want to make sure that we have got this chemistry and we want to work together. Like I do that when I'm choosing my coaches as well, making sure that we're going to work together. I never had that. Like I never had anyone being rude to me. However, I once met someone, that was last year. I met someone last year in Dubai on conference, and this gentleman was extremely skeptical because I talk. He's extremely logic, super successful. And he was very skeptical because I was talking a lot about intuition, subconscious. And then we coached. Like I said to him, like, give me a chance, like give me a chance and I'm gonna work with you. And we've worked and he had amazing results. Actually, we now we're working together and he's mentoring me on the business stuff, but he was my coaching client.
Wow.
So yeah, so I've managed to create that, and because I don't doubt my skills and my experience, and show him that yes, intuition is amazing and you've got it as well.
That was going to be one of my questions as well. Who's been your biggest, like, role model sort of thing, or someone that's sort of taken you under their wing to sort of build you up and stuff, and
Ooh, I've got few mentors, like big.
mentors? Yeah.
uh, Yes, I've got few mentors, and I think that's as well important for all of us in any stage of your life and any position is find people who can mentor you, who are well ahead of the game, regardless what we do. If it's in our corporate role or it's in life, in love life, in the relationships, if someone is doing something, you want to be there one day, they could mentor you. So I'm very fortunate to be able to work with incredible people. Like for the last few years, my one of my mentors is Paul Guetta. Um, I think you've heard about him, internet nerd, internet marketing nerd. He worked with people. He's just incredible personality, incredible connector. He worked with like likes of Ty Lopez, Grant Cardone, but also he works with people like me. So Paul is an amazing, it's amazing role model for me because he achieved incredible success and is the realest, nicest person you can imagine, and like very genuine, very generous. The other person who is incredible mentor for me is Nick Pigeon. She is a positive psychology coach. I actually, and she was my, funny enough, she was my sign from universe one day when I accidentally bumped into her, and I've asked that morning to have a sign. And she is world renowned coach, but also specialist in positive psychology. The other person is Linda Stratton, who I work with now. She is nervous system expansion expert. Again, amazing coach, amazing businesswoman, who is like, it's got all these people have got amazing careers, but they've got also really big heart. And I think one of the big people, it was Alistair Gray, who was the first, like my first mentor ever as a coach. And I finished like the first coaching course which I finished, it was in his academy in Mindful Talent. Amazing person. I've been on a mastermind with him. This is guy who is grinding in a garden, walking barefoot, and then works with executives in Google and coach them. So all of those people are very real people, very successful, very authentic, experts in their field, but also they have got big hearts. And I think that that's for what is for me important. I want to be remembered as someone like that, like someone who is an expert, but also is someone who is sharing, is very genuine and authentic. Because I think being real in this industry is going to be very important because there's lots of fakiness going on.
Yeah, I feel especially. I mean, you get some. I mean, there's two sides to the spectrum. Like, if you come from money, you can live life on easy mode. You don't have that stress of balancing the books and so to speak. But when you start from the ground with nothing, you understand what it's like to have zero balance and build up. It's a totally different outcome. I mean, both are obviously going to be respected because
Mm.
people judge success by success. But there's always the self-made guy that always, there's always that thing. I'm a self-made person. But what's next for you anyway? What keeps you hungry? What's next for you? What keeps you hungry? What makes you wake up and say, yes, let me get going?
Oh my God. What next for me? I want a world domination
World domination. Okay.
in coaching.
What
I
kind
want
of what kind of domination we talking about?
I want to be globally recognized for my results and for my clients' results, but also bring the message of coaching, personal development to everyone who may not be in a place to make this amazing investments. And I mean like financial investments, time investments, at the executive level. Because for me, coming from nothing, literally nothing, it was such a big life-changing moment when I realized personal development can change your life so well and so quick, and you can be happy, and you can really aim and reach for the stars. And I never could understand it, why no one was teaching us this at school. And my dream is to bring it to everyone, to teenagers, like crazy teenagers like I was, people who can really benefit and turn their lives around. Because we are being told that we cannot do things. We being told that you have to be born in a certain way. No, you don't have to. And also there's so many people struggling right now with the well-being, the mental health, and there is so many great ways, fast tracked ways to actually improve our well-being, to look after ourselves. And I think they're more important than teaching maths at school. I mean, we need to know maths, but
Yeah.
but you know but looking after ourselves, bringing this well-being, creating things, I think building our talents and utilize them and helping other people is so important. And that's why I would like to share this message, that it doesn't matter, if you are young or old. You're never too young, you're never too old. You It's always the right moment. And I'm saying this like I'm going to be 44 this year, and in the last few years I literally significantly changed my career. And yes, it's scary to work for yourself,
Mm.
but it's possible.
Do you ever like pinch yourself like and just be like, oh my god, I've got some good stuff. I'm living good. I used to be broke. Now I'm dealing with millionaires and stuff. Do you ever just pinch yourself and just be like, how did this happen?
Absolutely. I had lots of moments. I pinch myself and I think like, wow, this is exactly what I was dreaming about. This is even more than I was dreaming about. Like I have got amazing talent to be meeting incredible people. So that's definitely the moment when I'm pinching myself about how things are working out. And then when the moments are tough, because like no one life is perfect, and my life is definitely not perfect as well. Like there
Oh,
are
don't hide it from me. You got to tell us some of this. We can't have you as this perfect perfectionist.
bloody hell, like why do
Give us
you
those imperfections.
imperfections? I mean, there is a lot of moments when I thought, oh my god, this is really dark. And like even last month there was a lot of moments when things were not going my way, and the god universe took security from under my feet, and I was thinking, oh, what's next? But when the moments are happening like that I know they are temporary and they are here to teach us something. Sometimes I'm thinking like, God, what is it you're trying to teach me? Like, come on, give it easy. Like, can you make it easier?
Yeah.
But they are. So yeah, I've got lots of moments like, cancelled weddings, broken relationships, wrong relationships, broken
I,
hearts.
I think, and we spoke. We This is something that we spoke about last time. We kind of agreed and disagreed on it, but we can jump straight back into it.
Yes.
Some people will argue that the price of success for a successful woman is that you don't get the happy ending, i.e., the wedding, the husband, the kids, and all the rest of it, sort of thing. What's your thoughts on it? Can you have it all?
I think everyone can have it all when we're ready, when it's the right time. Um, I still believe I'm gonna have my happy ending. I am a hopeful, not hopeless, hopeful romantic, as my friend Cash said, like hopeful romantic.
Hmm.
But I think everyone has to go through some journey, and I had to go through my journey and fair share of broken hearts, toxic relationships. This is the way how we actually learning about ourselves. I think. Oh damn! And I had some good lessons. I could write a book about it. But yeah, I think there is a price to success. But also I think it's what we want. I believe that one day I don't know if that's going to be this year. I think next year. That's my prediction. See, I'm having this recorded here.
Manifesting. We like this.
I will meet someone who is on the same frequency as me.
Yeah.
I met and dated some amazing people already. Like it's just the things didn't work out. But yeah, there is probably price to success. There is probably social understanding that a successful woman and powerful woman is hard to handle, as one of the trolls put on my TikTok.
Yeah, that's the phrase. They know what they say. They say this generally from the podcast perspective. Men that deal with this sort of thing. I don't like to dig on it too much because and start quoting their words and stuff because it sends you down a bad road, and then you end up kind of like with this incel sort of culture and mindset and stuff, like but overwhelmingly what normally happens is when you have successful women on these podcasts, they normally get hit with men don't want a boss bitch. They want a nice lady just to stay at home and cook and clean and know her place within the role. And that's not me saying it, guys, but that's the overwhelming sort of response. And also as well, you're a high performer, you're a high earner, so most likely you although you may say you will accept the guy that earns less than you. I think we had a conversation about that before
Yeah.
where the power dynamics changed and that didn't quite work out the same. The guys that are going to be on your level, on your frequency, they may not want a boss bitch lady because they're obviously successful already. They'd prefer to have a bimbo that's just going to be
Yes.
a wife and be at home. And a bimbo's not the wrong word because there's nothing wrong with being a stay at home mum, and looking after the kids. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I feel like that's what those men on your frequency, high earning men want. What's your argument?
Okay, so first of all, there is 8 billion people in the world, so we cannot generalize.
Hmm.
Okay, uh, so that's a big statistic. Like there is 8 billion people. Secondary, I think there is a couple of things. I think a lot of women, and I'm saying when we are successful in corporate life or creating our businesses, we operate a lot from our masculine energy and survival. That's what creates a success very quickly, etc. So then is the big challenge is then step more into our feminine energy when we're meeting a partner. And because everyone has got feminine and masculine energy, and we need to balance it, and nature will always require us to balance. If you're overriding something else, it's just gonna try to balance you. I think that's the problem, because it's very difficult to switch in a relationship of like, and
Some people say it's impossible to
it's
switch.
possible.
Once a woman's in her masculine energy, it's impossible to turn it off. That's what some people will say.
It is possible. It's just for us to be self-aware and switch. Like, being in masculine is my survival instinct. It got me where I am, and it made me to survive because I didn't have a male to fall back on. So I just went for it. Successful in a career, successful in a corporate life, successful in I was working in companies where majority was male, so I had to step in. And then it's very difficult to be trusting yourself as well enough to all of a sudden to be receiving from someone else, because that's vulnerable. I need to trust you to give me. Ooh, that's scary. So that's the first thing. Yes, men, a lot of men are intimidated by women earning more, being more successful, more ambitious than them, or knowing what they want. Oh God, if the woman says like, but you know what? That's fine. You're not on my frequency. Like, I don't need to even take an application from form from you if that's your views, and if you're scared, that's okay. At least we can skip that. I'm not gonna be trying to pursue anyone like, oh come on, love me and love my success. I think there are very successful men who are attracted to women who are successful and who are so within the masculine rather than the ego that they can provide her with a sense of security that she can step back. And I think it's not only about woman going into her feminine, it's also a man who is so confident within himself and so much in his masculine that he is able to provide the security. And when I'm saying about a man provider, it's not only about the finance. Like, seriously, like, people put the relationship on like, are you on the six digits? Or it's not about that. It's a provider in terms of security, physical security, mental security, spiritual security. Is that someone who I'm gonna feel like I can breathe and not to be in a survival? And I think sometimes those men doesn't don't have to be on the same salary bracket as a woman. And I've seen those relationships when a woman is a main breadwinner, and a male is so within his masculine that he's confident, he's a provider of everything else by money.
Yeah. Would you say that's rare though? Would you say it's
It
rare?
is very rare because, but also what we need to remember, we are conditioned as a society on everything what's been fed to us in last, like, since we were born, and also what is surrounding us. I think the dating, regardless if you're successful or no, these days
It's
is like
yeah, honestly, dating this
super scary.
this social media has killed the dating market. It's absolutely destroyed it. The swiping. I mean, once you get into the culture of swiping, feeling lonely, and then think like it, because obviously as a woman, it doesn't matter what particularly you look like. You can go on a dating app and you can swipe all day long. You're gonna have guys that are, I don't like to use the word desperate, but I'll just say willing to sort of, get what they need for that night or whatever it is. And some of them play the long game, some of them play the short game. But this it's just having those options, and I think especially the younger generation growing up with these options. They could like they say that the average 20-year-old girl has been through 20 men by then, and that's frightening. I would say.
That's
Um,
very scary.
that's quite frightening for me, but this is quite normal now. Like this is what the
Mm.
culture of online dating and hooking up and drinking out and more money and stuff so they can go out drinking and doing all sorts of bits. So it's yeah, it's a bit challenging, I'd say.
This is very scary, and it will affect people's self-worth as well,
Of course.
in a very deep level. Like, the one thing which I've learned, and don't get me wrong, I had my fair share of fun, but also older I got and more I understood energetics and spirituality as well. As a woman, we take the energy of people who are we are with, especially in an intimate level,
Yeah.
more than a male. So it is a very important for a female to, and to be really selective of who
Yeah.
we allow
Yeah.
within ourselves,
Ah,
within our energy.
yeah, I love this, and obviously you being a therapist as well and stuff.
I'm not therapist, just coach.
Or coach or whatever. But I love this part because that men can have sex with as many women as they want and not absorb their energy, but
No,
women.
that's not true. No, no.
Explain.
I think that's woman is more receptive to energy. Obviously, even
Especially if you're no, because what the argument is as well is obviously when a man transfers bodily fluids into a woman, he's obviously he's putting all of his energy inside her, and that's going straight into her, and she's absorbing a lot of stuff there. And there was I didn't I there was we'll have to get you on again. There was this other podcast, and this guy was meant like doing all he'd done all this research, and he was saying that basically I don't know, it was really confusing, but he was basically saying that like they absorb a lot of stuff goes into the woman when
yeah,
they let a man sort of go into them, and um women that sort of thing can send women a little bit crazy, and also and also you know they can become like really they start to build a bond the more they let a man sort of
yeah. So there is a physiology and obviously energy. So like in terms of physical health, what happened? A man chasing a woman, wanting to sleep with her. That's when he gets oxytocin and dopamine. That's why it's so exciting for a man to chase. Moment when men have orgasm and ejaculate, that hormones go down, so they just don't feel excited about it, like okay, I got it, I did my job. That's nature. This is not like men are bad. And I believe that men take some stuff with the energy field of the women they sleep. So if the man sleeps around a lot, they would absorb this energy, maybe in not such a powerful way of women. When woman sleeps with someone, that's after that, that's when oxytocin goes up. And this is the very same hormone which goes up when you have like female having a baby, so you're bonding with your baby. So that's why a female may be like, oh, I'm not so into him, and then we slept together and all of a sudden I like him. Is a mother nature made you to feel like, oh, this is potential father of my children, I feel connected. And that's why they potentially can get crazy if someone is ghosting them. Or
yeah.
but I think it's energetically, as humans, we've got, this is not even like woo woo stuff. Every single one of us has got energy field. Even now, it's been measured. This energy field is about 9 meters up, 9 meters around us. That's why you can feel someone looking at you when you've got the back turned against you, feeling the energy. So if someone is penetrating your energy field,
Here we go.
yes, you exchanging the energy. Physically you may be exchanging the body fluids which have got information, genetic information from your great great grandparents, because epigenetics tells us that we have got genes from information from like 7 generation back. So there is a lot of stuff which we exchange. So if we don't do things with intention, it really ruins our energetic field. That's what I believe. And I think that's what is happening now with modern dating and engaging. People do it for external validation rather than intention. I'm going with intention to find my partner. It's okay to date and see a lot of people. It's kind of like an interview process. But if your intention is pure and you say, I want to do it, it's a very different energy rather than I'm gonna open my hinge and see if John said I'm pretty. Oh, I'm pretty. I get this validation, and I'm gonna scroll to Carlos. Oh, Carlos said I'm pretty. A lot of people do that just for validation, and
No,
I
no,
think
of course, of
it's
course,
frustrating.
of course, and I feel like this is giving like I don't want to pick on women or anything, but it's giving women a false. I speak about this a hell of a lot because it gives women a false sense of security, because like you can, no matter what you look like. Objectively, I feel like you can see a pretty woman. Like objectively, I think we can all look at a woman and say, okay, she's pretty. But on social media, there are women that you would see, and you know what I'm trying to say, like
I don't know what you're trying to say. Just
okay, there are women that don't look objectively pretty, and I feel like any
mm,
woman could go online, and if she flaunts herself, she's going to get a certain type of man, a certain type a bunch of men, all different types of men good looking men, ugly men, whatever, will be going on that woman's profile. Like, OnlyFans, for instance. There are women, some of the most successful women on OnlyFans are women that you wouldn't think that are, just looking at you think like, you'd think, how the hell is she getting all these men sort of thing. But that's the power of social media. There are just like so many people coming on, and it's giving them a full sense of security. Going back to what I was saying is, there are men that will tell women that they're beautiful just to sleep with them. They don't want a relationship with them. They don't want anything serious with them. They will just lie to them and say to them, right, you are so beautiful, even if that woman's not beautiful. And in your mind, when you've got 1,000 men swiping and you telling you that you're beautiful, it's nice. I look at me, I'm so good and blah blah blah. I've got all these men telling me I'm beautiful. When in fact you've got a whole load of men that just want to sleep with you and don't want anything else with you, sort of thing. And I feel like that gives women a false sense of security on dating apps.
Mm, okay, there is a couple of things which I want to address
Go,
here
go
because
for it. Go.
there, what is a false sense of security? I am definitely not a person with a standard beauty standards. And you know what? I don't give a fuck. I feel beautiful and I don't need validation for it. But it took me from the very long periods, even people bullying me on my big teeth, on my big nose, like people will be like, oh, so are your nose. I love my nose. It's my granddad's nose. Never gonna operate it. But I am not in a classic, beauty standard.
No, I would say,
And
objectively, I would say you're a pretty woman.
thank you
Objectively,
so much. But
objectively, I would say you're a pretty woman.
I think that
Yeah.
the beauty of any person is within us, and no one should have a sense of security if they don't respond to the general beauty standards. Beauty standards change all the time, like if you think about it, in 90s when I was a teenager, we like if someone was over 40 kilograms of weight were considered as fat. I remember I was 50 kg and someone was saying that I need to go on a diet. Like when I look at it now myself, like you could see skin and the, then Kim Kardashian, all of a sudden curves went in. Now everyone is taking Ozempic and all the sorts of drugs, and all of a skinny is in trend. So those beauty standards are very different. If you go around the world, they're very different.
Yeah.
Yes, as someone who doesn't believe in themselves, because I think every single person is beautiful, and there is someone who would appreciate.
No, no, I definitely get what you're saying. There's beauty is in the eye of the beholder, as they say. Like, so someone
Yes.
might look at you and think, yeah, you're amazing. Someone might look at another girl and think that she's not that very good. But yeah, I think so. What I was gonna ask you is,
Yes.
have you ever seen a woman that you thought wasn't attractive?
Not attractive to me, and they could be attractive to other people, like a lot of glamour models. I am thinking I don't understand, because as a female I can see they utilize the same look, and it's just, for me, I don't know, if I was a man maybe I wouldn't find it attractive, but that's just my opinion. That's not where I was going for. Is everyone is allowed to have their opinion, but what happens is, were you saying someone has a false sense of security? If a woman needs to go, or a man, because male are doing as well, to the dating app to validate the looks, that means you're not validating yourself. Okay, you're not validating yourself. I need your external confirmation that I'm pretty. And if that is something which I'm building my false sense of security, this is dangerous, because what if that's going to go? That means I haven't got the sense of security within myself. That's why for me it's so important for young girls and young men and anyone to be thinking, the most important relationship you will ever have in your life, and the most important relationship which will have the biggest decision on your relationship lives, is a relationship within yourself. If you truly love yourself, and like, I am realistic, I don't look like Cindy Crawford, but I truly love myself. And you can see, like, even on my pictures, if we were going for, like, I don't know, my pictures from 2015, where my confidence was on the floor, even though physically I look good, I was skinnier than now, even, like, I was fit, I was working out, but my confidence and my self-love wasn't there. You can see in my eyes I'm not there. Moment when we accept ourselves, when we love ourselves, and we've got this validation within ourselves, then A, we are better partner for a future partner because we're not going to be toxic. B, we don't need someone else telling me I'm beautiful to confirm it. Of course, it's going to be nice for my ego if someone says it, but I don't have to go out to get that sense of security. I don't need to then prove myself
How do you get that? How does someone get that?
how to get.
How do
Okay,
you get confidence in your, because a lot of people will say the reason that you feel that way is because you are objectively a pretty woman, and you do get told by men that you're a pretty woman. Most I think most women get told every single day that they're, whether it's on social media or it's in person. So some people would say is the people telling you that you look good, it's what building your self-esteem and building the validation you have in yourself. What would you say?
no, you can have, and I've worked with extremely attractive people who had no self confidence, but the outside would say like, "Come on, she's a model. She's super
Yes, that's
confident."
very, very common.
That's not your self concept. Is it can be completely different with the way how you look outside and how people perceive you and the feedback you've got internally. For a very, like, I can talk about myself and my own example. For a very long time in my life, up to very recently, I if someone said you are beautiful, I would be like, I could not accept it. I would cringe. I didn't believe it. I didn't see myself as beautiful. And I can look at my pictures and feel like shit, I look hot when I was 20 something. Like, like I was a beautiful girl, and I'm not surprised that my ex-fiance wanted to be with me. But that very time, I remember I didn't see myself. Like, I was bullied at school when I was in primary school. I didn't feel that attractive. Like, I grew up in Poland where all the girls are like super skinny. I had curves. So moment when you stack out, people pick on you. Like, I remember my boobs grew very early, and the kids were like, "Oh, look, you've got big boobs." So now I'm thinking like, "Yes, I've got boobs. Hey, this is amazing." So start loving myself. It took me personally. It took me to have a nervous breakdown and severe depression and hit the rock bottom to be suicidal to start addressing myself. And I remember one of the realizations I had. It was I don't love myself. Like, and I remember I was living in Dubai at the time, and I was talking to a very, very close friend of mine. She's an amazing woman. And she said to me, like, all you do, you are trying to fill the hole you've got in your heart with everyone else. And that was it. That was me. I was looking for career. I was looking for validation in relationships. I was so needy. Like, I had like book example of anxious attachment style. Like, please love me, love me, love me. Like, and she was like, you need to fill this hole. And I remember like we were sitting on the beach, she left, and I was sitting on this beach and thinking, how am I going to do that? How am I going to love myself? And it's been a process. It's been, first of all, it's like the first step is being self-aware that this is what I need to work on. Like, do I like to spend time on my own? Like, I could, like, at the time, I couldn't even imagine. I always used to fill my life with people. I used to fill my life with fun because I didn't know what to do with myself. I felt lonely. I didn't want to feel lonely. So enjoying myself, like, since then, in last 10 years, I've traveled world on my own. Like, now I'm sometimes worried that like traveling with someone is going to disturb my how much fun I have on my own. But that was doing those things uncomfortable. Doing also the other thing was, a lot of times, I don't know if men do that, but as a female, we go, oh, I wish I had a boyfriend. If I had a boyfriend, I could fly for a weekend to New York, or we could go to this romantic restaurant, or I could go on a boat trip on Thames, or I could go there. And I made a list, no joke, 2015, I had a list of all these things, and I started doing them on my own.
Oh wow.
Like, and enjoying it, and being grateful, doing a lot of subconscious rewiring as well, and doing amazing thing. If someone doesn't love themselves and you want to start, is talking to yourself in a mirror. Is a work which was pioneered by Louise Hay. It's called mirror work. And you literally telling yourself, like, looking yourself in the mirror, and you say, like, I love you. And you know what, I'm not afraid to even admit it. On the very beginning, I found it so awkward. Then I was crying because it was just awkward to tell myself I love myself. Now I look in a mirror. It's like, even if I have a like crazy hair, I go like, I love you. You look hot, girl. Like, but giving yourself all these things which you would give everyone else or you want from someone else. And that's the beginning. And having this process, you need to start falling in love with yourself, appreciating yourself,
Yeah.
telling yourself, like, look, you went through it. Look how resilient you are.
Yeah. Yeah. What? Because I feel like we, as usual, when we spoke last time, it just flew past. I really enjoy speaking to you. I feel like we have to do something. I will read that book, Mirror Work, and we
I'll
will have
send
to.
you the videos.
Yeah, and we'll have to do another podcast on mirror work and loving yourself, just so people can focus on that. One thing that we skimmed over as well, like we talked about validation from social media, especially with children now.
Mhm.
We're in a sad place where children are actually killing themselves when if they don't get more likes than two more or
Yes.
more than two likes. So I feel like it's something that really needs to sort of be looked at, and also as well, I want to put out there before anyone jumps on me, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Like
Yes.
everyone is pretty to someone else, but I feel like objectively you can look at someone and think, okay, she's not that you hate them or anything, but you can say, okay, she's not my cup of tea or whatever. And but self-confidence, if you have self-confidence, you can do so much. Like
Mhm.
a self-confident ugly person can get you always see them with the pretty girls, with a nice lovely woman. And so what's quite funny as well is what's really funny now is at the minute you're seeing when you see a group of girls and you see and objectively you'll see the really pretty girl in there. She'll be the one without the boyfriend because and with no confidence because guys are too intimidated to go up to her, or she's not confident within herself. And it's another concept out there that we will
Mhm.
put out there. But Olga, where can people find you? And if they want your services, what do they do? What's the process?
So if someone wants to find me, I'm on TikTok. Recently, I started to be really active, more active on TikTok, Instagram as well, Olga underscore Kublik, Kublik, or on my website, which is olgakublik.com. And there is all the services. So I do one-to-one coaching. I do single sessions, which I call Empower Hour as well. If someone wants to test it and see how it works, and on the 1st of May, I start a group program. I've got some spaces as well,
Hmm.
which is the identity shift, which is going to be a 5 weeks of not only just like fake it until you make it and pretend to be someone else, but really shifting our identity to the next level and resolving subconscious blocks of our old self concept. And I'm super excited about it because I haven't done group program. I've been asked for it for a few years, so it's going to be super exciting.
Oh, exciting! I might have to sneak in there, get a little preview of it. I take it you mentioned epigenetics, so you probably know who Joe Dispenza is, and you know a lot of
Wow.
what he says and stuff like that about when you say faking it till you make it. Like what Joe Dispenza tries to do to people. He says so like if you put your mind into the put your like put your mind into it, so you're saying to yourself, look, make your mind think that you've already got it, like and you'll
So
get
yes,
it.
so that's I work a lot with Joe Dispenza, and like his book Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself changed my life, and I do actually daily meditations with Joe Dispenza meditations. Um, what it is again not fake it until you make it. You really through his meditations or through his technique, what he's saying is really letting your body and your mind, subconscious mind and unconscious mind, to feel and to understand the new reality, because a lot of times we imagine it outside of us, but this internal blocks gonna sabotage us to get there. Even if we're gonna have it to be received, we're gonna sabotage it somewhere. So changing that state, and also with Joe Dispenza there is not only epigenetics but also quantum physics, where there are infinitive numbers of realities. There is a reality of you which has got everything you want. And it's about really shifting to that reality. And the only way to shift that is not skipping the realities, is shifting internal belief and our identity. So if your identity shifts into someone who has it all, the reality, that's the law, that's physics, quantum physics, the reality will have to catch up.
Yeah, and I think he said as well. I think he does use the analogy of when you have a dream that's so real, sort of thing that you can touch it, you can feel it, you can even, some people, do a lot of things from their dreams, some good dreams and stuff. So can you trick your mind can you trick your mind to be somewhere like, where you need to be, sort of like,
So what is amazing, and that's like I could talk about it for hours. Your brain doesn't know if what you are thinking and imagining is true, is reality here in this 3D reality, or is happening for real or not. And like, why do we have a body reaction when we have a sexual fantasy? Because the brain doesn't know if we're just fantasizing about it or not, is producing this exactly the same reaction. If I was to tell you to imagine a lemon and cut the lemon and start licking it, you're gonna start salivating because if you imagine it, because your body is reacting to what brain thinks is a reality. That's how powerful visualization is. So, like visualization, especially meditation, when your brain is in theta, is so powerful because your brain really starts reacting and feeling it. So yeah, so you're not tricking your brain, you're actually living that reality.
Yeah.
I've done some amazing quantum jumping meditations with my clients. When then fast forward in the real lives, there were results. I've done quantum jumping meditations myself when I saw things and I was like, this doesn't make sense. Fast forward a few months later, actually that was becoming my reality because my brain was so well adjusted to this dream that everything in my reality starts filtering into bringing me these opportunities because they're there, but sometimes we don't even see them.
Yeah. Power of the mind. I feel like we're going to end up going down that route at some point. Like, one thing I'll just say before we end is like, people don't realize, like, how powerful the brain is, in the sense that, like, like sometimes who's done it before where I've gone for a drive, and for 20 minutes, I shit you not, I can tell you that I don't remember driving. Like, I'm like, I don't, your brain went in, my brain went into autopilot, and it's just driven me home. Like, I'm like, fuck me. How did I sort of adjust the cars? How did I sort of do it? I can't even remember the drive. My brain just done it. It's like someone took over me, sort of, So it's very powerful.
Can I just give you, okay, 95% of the time you are alive, that's what happens. You're on autopilot. Our conscious mind takes control only about 5 to 10% of our lives maximum. 95% we are on the autopilot. So everything you do, even us talking, me grabbing my drink, maybe it's like looking at the notification, this is autopilot. And that's why it's so important to understand what is the programming in our subconscious mind for those autopilot, because we can be, like when people say in a manifestation teachers world, yeah, start imagining, say affirmations, you can start put the most beautiful vision boards. If your subconscious mind, this autopilot, doesn't believe you worth it or doesn't believe you deserve it, because that could be one conscious block and programming, is not gonna accept that into your reality. It's gonna do everything to keep you safe in your reality. And subconscious mind is not led by goals and what we imagine. Subconscious mind is led by safety. It's here to keep you safe so you can drive, think about your dates, and drive home and don't crash your car because it's programmed to keep you safe. But if something was happening which is unsafe, it will wake you up. Okay. But if also something unfamiliar happened, it would be as something unsafety. And unfamiliar, that doesn't mean bad. Something which is your dream come true is unfamiliar for your subconscious mind. So if you don't train your subconscious mind to accept it as familiar, it's just going to reject it.
Wow.
Yes, powerful and
It,
autopilot.
it is indeed, isn't it? I feel like we'll definitely have a part three. I think maybe
That's free.
part three. We'll definitely have a part three. But yes, Olga, amazing speaking with you. I will edit this video and put all your lovely clips and put all your socials on the side of it as well. A lovely people, lovely person, a very successful lady. Make sure everyone goes out and checks her out and follows her. Olga, thank you very much for joining me.